Hello and welcome. So let's get started. All we're doing today is we are drawing the transform function f of x on the graph below. So before we get started, let's talk about our three graphs. You have three kinds. You have a quadratic, this parabolic shape that is for a x squared function. Next, I call it a half circle. This is going to be your square root of x. And last but not least, you have this v, that is your absolute value of x. Those are your three functions. Okay, now keep in mind that for the quadratic and the absolute value, so the x squared as well as the absolute value of x, you must graph that turning point, the vertex, first. If you don't, it won't graph it correctly for you, so do keep that in mind. Alrighty, so let's look at our equation. What we're given is a square root, which means it's going to be that half circle graph. And where that graph starts is that your half circle is going to start at 0, 0. Okay, and then it's going to be 1, 1, and then 4, 2, so on and so forth. Right? So it's okay. Where this came from, fun fact, is we have f of x equals square root x. Right? You plug in x to get out y. So if you plug 0 in, square root of 0 is 0. You plug in 1, square root of 1 is 1. You plug in 4, square root of 4 is 2. That's where those points came from. Alrighty. So it's okay. First thing is now we got to identify what the transformation is. Because you have addition, subtraction is also the same thing. Addition or subtraction is a shift. Okay, addition, subtraction is a shift. So then I'd say, alright, so now we got to identify whether this is a horizontal or vertical shift. How we know is where we see the number at. This 5 is on the inside of the operation, inside of the square root with the x. And that tells you that this is not just any ordinary shift, it is a horizontal shift. Okay, now if that number, if we had that square root, was on the outside of the square root, it wasn't inside of the operation, it was outside of it, then that would become a vertical shift. Now why we care about which direction it goes is depending on whether it's horizontal or vertical, you actually do the opposite of what you see. So, for example, for this one, this is plus 5. The shift is actually going to the left. And the main reason is that if we have, say, square root of x, let's say equals 10. If you have x plus 1, and it still equals 10, in order to make sure that you get back to just x, you would have to minus 1, would you not? So that means that's essentially why that we have to go, okay, so this is plus 5, minus 5 puts us back at the original square root. So we're going to the left, 5. So your first point, 0, 0, which means it would be over here first. And then you say, okay, well, left 5 means you would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is your new point after the transformation. Okay, the next point would have been 1, 1, over 1, up 1, but because of the transformation, it'll be to the left 5, which you'll notice that pattern still stays the same. It still goes over 1, up 1. The next one will still remain the same, where if we go over 4 and up 2, from our starting point, that'll still remain the same. The pattern is the same. We've just essentially picked up the graph and placed it left 5 units. Connect your dots and you're good to go. Now for this one, just make sure that you use your first point as the first point that you graph, and then you can use either of these 2 points to have the graph appear on your homework. Alright, and that is horizontal shifts. Thanks for watching.